Greetings, Earthlings, and any other beings who are watching this. One of my favorite quotes is by Carl Sagan, and he says, it's something like, in order to bake an apple pie, you must first create the universe. So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying how interconnected everything is, because everything really is more interconnected than we think it is, and then it appears to be on the surface, because we're living in this reality where we perceive everything as separate, but that's not really the case. Like, in terms of events, like, where does your life begin? The life of a human being, does it begin when you're born? No, because you still exist as a fetus in the womb before then. Does it exist when you're conceived, when the sperm and the egg meet? No, because then you still have the sperm and the egg. So does it begin with the sperm's life or the egg's life? So there really is no beginning. You could trace it back and back and back and back. So we just put arbitrary lines on things to differentiate them. Like some people might say, once you come out of the womb, that's when you're born. But it's really just an arbitrary man-made line on things. Just like how we create these arbitrary man-made lines called borders. You know, I've never seen a border in my life, but we make up these lines and perimeters that are conceptual abstractions and manifestations of that separation mentality. And another thing is, like, where does hot begin and cold end? They just gradually blend into each other. There is no line where hot ends and cold begins. You know, it's a gradual transition. So everything really is incredibly and intrinsically interconnected. It's kind of a mind-boggling concept to think about, because we view everything as separate and everything as just different things, and we're separate than the environment, and this water bottle is separate than me, but it's more of a physical holographic illusion than it is reality. And that creates some more interesting points, like to fully understand something, like what Carl Sagan said about baking an apple pie. To like fully understand anything, you have to understand everything. And understanding everything is impossible. So you can't fully, completely understand one thing because we're unable to understand everything. And that leads to like the arrogance of belief. People that are so convinced that their way is the right way, or their belief or their perspective is the right way and the only way. It's ludicrous, because you can't fully understand something because you can't fully understand everything. It's all interconnected. And yeah, there are things that seem more plausible than other things, but really it's all possibility and it's all theory. A lot of these things that we debate are just abstractions within our heads. They're just conceptual. So it's good to just view the world as an idea playground, and to be able to entertain any ideas and see what resonates with you, and see what is to your benefit and see what is to your detriment, and use the things that are to your benefit, unless you like damaging yourself. But most people don't. Most people are looking for things that can benefit them. So because of that, how interconnected things are, because you have to create the universe first to bake an apple pie. That's why I'm so interested in the most fundamental questions, or the most essential questions, like the nature of reality. What is the nature of this reality we find ourselves in? And what are we? You know, what is this human? What is this? Like, I'm constantly asking myself those questions and exploring those things, because those are fundamental aspects of our experience. So if you can have some understanding, of course you'll never fully understand it all, but if you can have a grasp, even though that word, it's kind of ironic in and of itself, because then you're clutching to hold nothing, like, in the end. But if you can explore those fundamental, those essential questions, then it gives you a better idea how everything else works. You know, so if your view on the nature of reality is a false view, then everything from that foundation will be, it'll be built upon a false premise. And that's where everything becomes dysfunctional, because you're on a dysfunctional paradigm. It's all questions though, because is something really true or false, or is it just an experience? I'm not sure, but I know I am interested in exploring those fundamental questions, because it helps me, this is my personal experience, because it helps me make more sense of what's going on around me. So that's why I'm not saying things are right or wrong, that I know ultimate truth, but I explore those fundamental things because it helps you see the world from a perspective that makes more sense, and you're able to make, while with some paradigms of viewing the world you have cognitive dissonance, like this can't exist because it doesn't fit the paradigm, you know? I like to evaluate all paradigms and to explore those paradigms where you can make sense of things, where you can make sense of paranormal activity, where you can make sense of everything, ghosts, where you can make sense of telepathy, where you can make sense of like all those things that with our 3D materialistic model of the world, they can't exist because they don't fit the model. So that's why I like exploring the fundamental questions. And that's kind of a rant, but yeah, explore the nature of reality, because in order to understand something, you need to understand everything. But you're never going to understand everything. But you can get a better idea on everything, so you can get a better idea on something. Oh, yeah. Reality is strange. Yeah. Have the best day ever. All right? Peace, peace, much love, and one love, baby.